Spring savings are in the air and at Ross, where they have savings on all the brands you love. From the latest fashion to outdoor decor and even pet supplies, savings are in every aisle. Go to Ross and save 20 to 60% off other retailers' prices on your favorite spring finds.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules, and no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free one-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
This is Optimal Health Daily. Retiring early has nothing to do with doing nothing, by Chris Reining of chrisreining.com. And I'm Dr. Neil Malik. Hey there, and welcome to another Sunday bonus episode where I share an article from one of the other podcasts in our network. Today's post comes from Optimal Finance Daily, where articles covering everything from saving to budgeting to investing and more are read to you every day. You can find Optimal Finance Daily wherever you're hearing this. So with that, here's Diana with the post and commentary as we optimize your life.
Retiring early has nothing to do with doing nothing, by Chris Reining of chrisreining.com. The early retirement movement continues to gain traction, mostly because there's an increasing amount of media coverage. When I agree to stories, they go viral. I guess retiring before 40 is pretty intriguing. But here's a little secret. I never liked sharing my story because it always felt braggy to me. When my picture was splashed across the front page of the New York Times wealth section for becoming a millionaire, coverage people would die for, I hated it. That was when I was still working. People at my office saw the article and sent emails. Congrats, you must be so proud. I never responded. But as time goes on, I'm better at embracing all this. What changed? Well, I see the exposure as opportunity. If my story inspires you, then I know I have a chance to help you. That's what I'm trying to do here. Of course, these stories also bring naysayers. Here's one recent email. Quote, doesn't it make you feel like a bit of a fraud to claim to be financially independent while you're spending a lot of time working and earning money from your website? All this work makes it seem like a career, maybe one you enjoy more than the one you had before, and not retirement, end quote. People have this idea that if you retire early, you're supposed to be on a beach, sitting there, rubbing coconut oil on your body, turning into some old, stupid, wrinkled sack of organs and bones. Look, retiring early has nothing to do with doing nothing. That's not the objective. It's about having control over your time. I asked my private email list what financial independence means to them, and not one person mentioned a beach. Why? They're intelligent, ambitious people. They want more time to watch their kids grow up, to do more meaningful work, the means to take a risk. Quote, I would do the following. Number 1, stop going to a job I don't love just to keep paying my Southern California mortgage. 2, pursue a terminal degree like a PhD in a field I'm passionate about, and then take a job at a local community college educating those who are just starting out on their educational and life journeys. Wow, it feels good to say that. I just wish there was a way to make it real. End quote. Quote, I would absolutely be staying home with my beautiful girls instead of working the grind day in and day out and seeing them grow up in a blink of an eye. End quote. Quote, I would travel around the world, photograph beautiful landscapes and cities, and write. Of course, that would require an exorbitant amount of money, so it's just a fantasy. End quote. Quote, I'm starting a business this year because I'm tired of wasting my life away at work. I'll be growing an organic flower farm and using the flowers to design floral arrangements for weddings, individuals, and businesses. End quote. Quote, I'd spend 3 hours running and working on being in shape every day without guilt. End quote. So, financial independence, early retirement, whatever you want to call it, isn't this black and white working or not working thing. In fact, it's not even a new thing. In 1748, Benjamin Franklin retired at 42. 1748! He became financially independent from his print shop, but didn't want to spend more of his time making more money. It wasn't worth it. Did he sit around doing nothing? No, he spent the rest of his time in science, politics, and diplomacy. For him, like it is for me, it's about having the ability to follow your interests, because following your interests is what makes you happy. Studies prove that. And if we fast forward to the last century, Joe Dominguez retired in 1969 at the age of 31. He and Vicki Robbins started their financial literacy work in the 70s, publishing Your Money or Your Life in 1992, one of my favorite books. Paul and Vicki Terhorst retired in 1984 at 35. They wrote Cashing In on the American Dream, How to Retire at 35, which a young Mark Cuban says he read obsessively. This isn't a new thing. It's just more people are being introduced to it. Having done it, here's what I can tell you. When you're working a 9-to-5 job, all you have to do is wake up, eat breakfast, commute to work, sit in a little cubicle, and commute home. Lather, rinse, repeat. Floating through the day this way, being pushed along by the necessity of a paycheck, is pretty easy. Retire early, and you have to make decisions about how you're actually going to live. That's hard. But if it sounds more appealing, it's a good sign it's for you. You just listened to the post titled Retiring Early Has Nothing to Do with Doing Nothing by Chris Reining of chrisreining.com.
Oikos presents 15 Seconds of Strength.
Here we go. Steve's got a trunk full of groceries and no one to help him.
Oh, that's tough, Jim. Looks like a 5-trip load at least.
He grabs the first bag, the second. Bob, it looks like he's trying to do it all in one trip. He shimmies the door open, steps over the dog. Oh, and he stumbles.
Oh, right into the kitchen without missing a beat. Jim, now that's a man who eats his protein-packed Oikos.
With 15 grams of complete protein in each cup, Oikos Triple Zero can help build strength for every day. Oikos, stronger makes everything better.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. Your post jumps to the top for relevant candidates, reaching the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs gets 45% more applications than non-sponsored ones. One thing I love about Indeed is how it speeds up hiring. When I've hired in the past, the process was overwhelming. I wish I'd used Indeed. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
This article hit the nail on the head about some major misconceptions about financial independence and early retirement, often referred to as FIRE. To me, firing is much more about separating your finances from your work, not abandoning work altogether. Satisfying work is one of the great joys of life, and whether you retire at 30 or 65, why would you deprive yourself of that? The big difference between working during your accumulation years and working during your FIRE years is based on financial need. Before reaching FI, you're working to pay the bills, save, and otherwise fund your lifestyle. After FIRE, you're working if, when, and where you want, with no concern for the money. Oftentimes, hobbies or businesses you create can produce an income, and you'll want them to so that you can at least cover your costs for the work you're doing. However, the work you get to do when you no longer need an income to cover your living expenses can bring a satisfaction you may never have experienced when you were required to work for money. Many studies have linked retirement with a decline in health because many people spend their retirement not doing anything that looks like work and wasting away with nothing to do. Yes, there will be and should be periods of extended rest and recuperation in retirement. But if you don't find a useful way to spend your time, you will most likely end up lonely and depressed. That being said, regardless of your age, if you anticipate your retirement to look like sitting around and doing nothing all day, I'd encourage you to not retire at all. And that's a wrap for another Monday show. Have a great start to your week, and I'll be back tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.